be back in 30 seconds.
Your talk, your voice, your show. This is Fox News Talk. Listen, learn, and be a part of the conversation at 877-367-2526.
We are living in a surveillance state where basically almost everything you do is trackable.
He's not a king. The freedom of the press and the role of the courts are essential to our democracy.
Remember, people that abuse their authority are guilty of treason.
Speak your mind. Call in live. This is your show on right now. This is Fox News Talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fox News Talk. I am Kat Timpf. If you thought we were going to be talking about a tax plan today after the Unity lunch, then you are not in luck. We have not seen a tax plan yet. We've seen Trump versus Corker roast battle again. We've seen Jeff Flake announce that he's not going to be running for re-election. We talk about all that, as well as Kid Rock, germs. Yes, germs. I'm very, very sick, you guys. We will have Kennedy of Fox Business stopping by, as well as my friend Ben Kissel, and my other friend Rob O'Neill. You may know him as a guy who shot Bin Laden, which is more than I've done ever. And you, too, can come on and get involved. Join the conversation on Twitter. Give us a call at 877-367-2526. Right now, I have a guest right now, too, my friend Seena Ghaznavi.
Yes.
He's my friend, but not close enough for me to be able to pronounce his last name because he just went from using his middle name, right?
Yes.
John. But then too many people were calling you John Cena.
Exactly.
So that was a bit of a problem.
Just own it. Make it uncomfortable for friends now.
Make it uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable already. Hopefully you're uncomfortable, too. That's great. He's a comedian. He's a lawyer. You often guest host on Sirius XM, right?
I do.
Seena, welcome to the show.
So happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here.
Oh man, this is exciting. It's this is the start of your new empire here.
My new empire right here. Me and my vitamin water and my leather jacket. It feels like an empire. I always
Hashtag
imagine
vape life.
Yeah, I always imagine if I started an empire, I would do so with a terrible cold. We just always had terrible colds
Humble
all
beginnings.
the time. Yeah, humble beginings. Well, the big news of the day, of course, is Senator Jeff Flake saying no more.
He's took self-deported.
Senator Jeff Snowflake is more like it. I've heard he's probably heard that one on Twitter anywhere between 1 million to infinity times today. He's not going to run re-election, and he basically, said because of Trump.
Yeah.
He didn't say. Can we play clip number 1, please?
Reckless, outrageous, and undignified behavior has become excused and countenanced as telling it like it is, when it is actually just reckless, outrageous, and undignified. And when such behavior emanates from the top of our government, it is something else. It is dangerous to a democracy. Such behavior does not project strength, because our strength comes from our values. It instead projects a corruption of the spirit and weakness.
Yeah, he didn't really mince words there, Seena.
Is he talking about King Koopa?
Yeah. Who's he talking about?
Who's he talking about? Is it Skeletor? I can't. Oh, the president. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's talking about the president.
Oh, my God. Yeah, he's very subtle.
Yeah. See, when he says this whole thing about telling it like it is versus just being reckless, I think that there is an important difference there. I think that we do want someone who tells it like it is. A lot of times politicians will have the opposite problem where they'll say things like, in a very flowery way when we know what they mean. But you don't got to be mean to people.
Well, you and I are both I would say, against the idea of this whole political correctness.
Correct.
Because it goes way off into I'm so sensitive I don't want to hear anything from anybody. Mm-hmm. But we do want to tell it like it is. We want someone to shoot us straight a little bit because there's been this kind of opaque layer of government that we've had to deal with for decades, and we've kind of been asleep at the wheel just looking at that opaque wall and not asking what's behind it. But now it seems like we've broken down that wall, taken everybody, and just drove ourselves off a cliff.
Yeah, absolutely. The political correctness I think, is one of the reasons why Trump was elected in the first place. I'm wearing these big hoop earrings right now, which everyone says are cultural appropriation.
Oh, God,
I can't wear them. I like them because they distract from the fact that my hair is not down and I don't have my fake hair in, and, I look... oh, look how big her earrings are.
Right.
That's what it's about, all right? Come on, leave me alone with that. So then people vote for Trump, and then it ends up, it has been a bit of a mess, right? With, would you say, with a little bit of the fighting going back and forth on Twitter versus people in his own party. What do you think of the way that Senator Flake, soon to be not Senator anymore Flake, chose to handle it?
I think he did. I would view this from his perspective as a victory for moral leadership. And that's what I think he's trying to do. I think that's what Ben Sasse does every day when he pushes back against the president. Ben Sasse tweets and talks like he doesn't care about losing his job, and I love that.
Yeah.
And I really respect that. And that's what I think. That's what Jeff Flake is like, okay, I don't want my job anymore. I'm going to go out saying it like it is. Here's
my question, though. Why, if it's so bad, why do you quit? Why not stay in and fight? That's what I don't understand.
Because he knows to fight, to win and fight, he's going to have to say things like, I don't want to be pro-immigration. I don't want to be for free trade. I don't want to be pro all these basic conservative values that he's been, a huge proponent of for years. Mm-hmm. So I think now he's coming to the point where he's like, listen, it's not going to work for me. John McCain's almost a socialist when it comes to Arizona politics. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult for someone that's not really, really conservative to win in that state. So if he has to make certain concessions that are against his values, I think he's going to take the win and be able to sleep at night and say, you know what, I at least let the American people know where I stand on this.
See, I resent the idea that a lot of these are conservative values. When you talk about something like immigration, I'm a libertarian, and I believe in people to be able to travel freely, peaceful people being able to travel freely across borders.
An extremist point of view.
An extremist point of view, as many might say. So I don't know if it's about, it's not so much about values anymore a lot as it is about, conservative and liberal as it is. Are you for Trump or are you against Trump?
Yeah.
And I think that can be a really, really harmful thing. What do you think that some of the pushback is going to be to him? Do you think there's going to be pushback? Do you think it's going to be good to see you go? Do you think more people are going to follow suit? You think it's just going to be him?
I think that Bob Corker probably inspired Jeff Flake to a certain degree. And I think you're going to see other people start to stand up a little bit more. It only takes a couple guys out there in the Senate to start speaking up against the president. You start a small coalition of people, and then you start using leverage within how the plumbing of Congress works to hold up the president's agenda or to push a certain agenda. Bob Corker just said, listen, the tax policy, the tax reform is not the Trump agenda. It is the Senate Republicans and the Senate and the congressional Republicans agenda. They've been pushing for tax reform long before the president ever tried to run for office. So I think you're going to see a lot of pushback, at least on the more legislative side of these things.
Right. And again, Sarah Huckabee Sanders saying, look, they hit him first. These people are hitting him first. He's just hitting back when you talk about something like the feud with Corker. And that we elected a fighter. I do want someone to fight for my taxes to be lower, but I don't see my taxes getting lower. Is something like this, is this all just a big distraction? Because the way that Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and she's very, very good at her job. I mean, it's a tough job. I wouldn't want to be anyone's press secretary. I have a tough time being my own press secretary. Sometimes I'll say something and I'll have to explain it. Why did I say that about Radiohead? Something like that, for example. And I certainly wouldn't want the job. And she does do a very good job of, they wanted a fighter. And, it takes off 30 seconds to fire off a tweet, but this is all still going on behind the scenes. But it's the media cycle that goes along with it, right? Because right now we're talking about this rather than the tax plan. And is that really our fault?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's too much of like a binary way of thinking here, right? Is it his fault that the media is covering all of his tweets so much? Yes and no, right? It's like they could, but you know what? tax policy is not the sexiest thing to talk about all the time. It is not, when healthcare comes up, it deals with people's lives. It's life or death. There's this very huge story that you can tell with it. When it comes to taxes, the estate tax. I mean, we're talking about a very nuanced part of the tax system right now. And people are it's very difficult for people to get excited or get passionate about something that only basically affects a very small percentage of America.
Right. Well, that came up in the press conference, too, earlier with talking about how President Trump often brags about the stock market doing well, but not everybody owns stocks.
Yeah.
I'm stoked that the stock market's doing better. I mean, I know you voted for Hillary Clinton, but you got to give him credit on that one.
No,
you got to give him credit on that one, but you won't.
No, he has nothing for the stock market. The business cycle is what drives the stock market.
Right, but he has reduced regulations in certain areas.
That pales in comparison to the amount of optimization that the recovery has done since the Great Recession. Companies have reduced their bottom line. They've reduced their balance sheets. They're chasing cheap labor all across the world. Nike has machines now that are making shoes.
I'm not for the America First. I am America First. I'm not for the America First sort of everything has to be made here. I mean, even in his own companies, he doesn't do that. I'm for free trade, freedom. I'm just for freedom all over the place, everywhere.
Yeah.
But when you remove regulations in certain areas, we have seen things get better.
Yes, but
it's impossible to talk about things like that because it's not sexy.
Oh, right.
Especially when you have this inner fighting going on. When you got to keep in mind, as John McCain pointed out in a speech recently, Congress is not a subordinate to the president. They're two equal branches of government, separate but equal.
A weird thing that a senator in basically his last term has to remind the country.
Yeah, it certainly is a weird thing. But I don't. Senator Jeff Flake talked about wanting to kind of, move past this, and we can see a difference of this under this spell. We don't always live like this. Can we play that clip number 5?
This spell will eventually break. That is my belief. We will return to ourselves once more, and I say the sooner the better. Because we have a healthy government, we must also have healthy and functioning parties. We must respect each other again in an atmosphere of shared facts and shared values, comity and good faith.
Yeah, do you feel like there's a spell?
I think he's playing on Halloween. And
you think it's a Halloween joke?
I think it's a lot of what a lot of people are talking about right now. These guys have a little bit longer of a time horizon than I think us do, that are like addicted to looking at our phones and the news cycle every day. They're actually looking they're looking, 3 years out, 4 years out, and they're going to say he's got a certain amount of time, and we're going to eventually have to move on from this kind of stuff. I mean, the history books are going to remember this president very poorly. They're going to remember all the things that he's done for this country, and then
I'm just excited to see little screenshots of tweets in a history book, which I never thought. That's a new goal for me to aspire to.
The Library of Congress is going to have to record all of these tweets.
Yeah, and put them in little books,
little cards, little index cards.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something for me to aspire to. But I think that we have gotten used to a new normal.
Yeah,
everybody has, regardless of what side you're on. You can't say that we used to live where you wake up and what did the president tweet today? Who is the president mad at today? And that is and can you get used to anything? Because when I heard him say that, that's kind of what I thought when I heard him say that.
Well, I think it's not even like we're getting used to it. We're used to it in the moment now, but I think if we look at it in the span of our country, I think we're confronting an identity that we are either going to accept or reject. And you're finding a lot of people that are saying, this is not the America that I signed up for. This is not the America that I wanted. I'm going to start to fight back. And other people are like, hey, man, finally, we got here. We're here. I'm ready to go. Hee-haw.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk about your girl, Hillary Clinton.
Oh, yeah.
And some of her not-so-nice business with Russia. Everybody, again, the number, if you want to call in, is 877-367-2526. I'm Kat Timpf, Fox News Talk. We'll be right back with Seena.
Listen, learn, and be a part of the conversation at 877-367-2526. This is Fox News Talk. More next.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-611-5153. That's 800-611-5153. 800-611-5153.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventors information, call 1-800-359-7341. That's 1-800-359-7341. Again, 1-800-359-7341.
This is the sound of a brand new outdoor grill being hurled off a 20-story building. Now a stylish glass coffee table. An electric guitar. These are the things you could enjoy, all cast into oblivion. Because when you throw away money on wasted electricity, you throw away everything you could have bought with it. Visit EnergySavers.gov and get tips on how to save energy and money. Then do things like switch to Energy Star light bulbs or Energy Star appliances, and you could save hundreds of dollars a year. So this doesn't happen to the recliner you've had your eye on, or this to the treadmill on your wish list, or this to the shiny new bike your kid's been asking for. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Fox News Talk presents
Political Pop. By the 70s, protest songs about long-haired, freaky people had become a bit cliched. But in August of 1971, the five-man electrical band recorded a charming, if not a bit silly, protest song, Signs.
Music with a meaning
that made a difference.
From Fox News Talk.
You've heard me talk all about the Mega Life and Health Insurance Company. We're the specialists when it comes to providing affordable health insurance to those of us that are self-employed or run a small business. But have you called us yet? Maybe you haven't needed health insurance. Maybe you had it where you work, but now you're off on your own. You started your own business, and now you realize how challenging it is to find affordable health insurance. Well, you can count on the Mega Life and Health Insurance Company to provide affordable health insurance to folks just like you and I, small business owners and the self-employed. Call right now and get yourself an affordable quote. The call is free. Here's the number: 866-500-MEGA. 866-500-MEGA. Toll free 866-500-MEGA. For affordable health insurance, call now. Home Office, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Association membership requirements vary by state. Not available in all states.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fox News Talk. I'm Kat Timpf. Call in 877-367-2526 if you want to join the conversation. I'm here with my friend Seena. We have a caller now to John from Madison, Ohio. John, how you doing?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Randy,
Excuse the noise in the background. I'm at the gym riding a stationary bike right now.
Oh, not to brag. I'm sitting down.
Multitasking.
And plus, I listen to your shows when I'm working out, so it's pretty easy. I've lost 100 pounds because of you guys. Anyhow.
Yeah, the stress would make me lose weight, too.
You know, you're talking about Jeff Flake and Mr. Corker. You know what? Let them go. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Because I never heard them talking about, look, first of all, I came to this country as a legal immigrant. I was sworn in as a U.S. citizen August 16th, 1968 at 12:30 p.m. with my mom, okay? That was the proudest day of my life. I never heard Corker or Flake yell at the top of their lungs when President Obama was in office. I've never heard a few Republicans speak out against President Obama's policies, but they really never did anything about it. Now we have somebody in the White House, he's like you and I, okay? And he doesn't mince his words, and he says what's on his mind, which a lot of us do say, okay? He's what I would consider a politically incorrect president. And these guys are upset because he's speaking the mind of what a lot of Americans feel. And if they don't like it, like you said, get out. Take the cheap shots. But when you get home, a lot of the people are going to say, well, we agree with President Trump. So if you don't like the heat, get out of the kitchen. And that's what I feel.
All right, thanks, John. We'll put you on hold for a second. Seena, I don't agree with a lot of the things that President Trump says. I wouldn't say he speaks like you or I. I do think that he probably should just stick it out. I don't see, if he thinks it's a problem, I don't think that he should be quitting.
I would never, personally, I would never quit. Whenever I see the chips stacked against me, I actually get excited. I think that's why we both are in comedy.
Yeah.
It's when it's extremely difficult, we go headfirst into the storm. I think what he was seeing was that it was going to be just absolute carnage in his primary, and it was going to be really bad for him. And he's decided, it's like, hey, this is how I feel. I'm going to get out of here. And I don't think it's a wimpish thing to do. I think it's more wimpish to knee-jerk tweet offensive things all the time when someone slightly offends you. And I don't want my president to actually be like me. I would like my president to be better than me.
So he was probably, right, he was probably envisioning, Senator Flake was, either he can say I'm not running for re-election and get called Snowflake for a little longer, or he could run for election, get slaughtered. He would probably lose.
Slaughtered,
just absolutely slaughtered, and then still not be in office, and then have the Snowflake with a loser added on to the end of it.
And then he would be looking at polling numbers on issues that would say, hey, this is the stuff, this is what you should be saying.
Yeah.
And I think he saw the writing on the wall, and he was going to be like, the eye of Sauron is going to be on me, and it's going to be really bad, and I got to get out of here.
Yeah, so quit while you're ahead. I'm never good at that, though.
No, I've never been ahead.
Yeah, I don't know how to quit. All right, well, we're going to switch topics here. There was something else that actually happened in the news today we haven't talked about. It was announced that 2 more Republican-led congressional committees are going to probe into Obama administration's decision to approve the sale of American uranium production. Now, this is a big deal to me because gave a fifth of our uranium to Russia, and then suddenly $145 million to the Clinton Foundation. If you're concerned about Trump-Russia, you have to have at least some questions about this.
Yeah, if we want to treat all of it the same, I'm okay with that. If we want to treat the Trump-Russia stuff the same way we treat the Clinton Foundation getting money from the Russians, fine. I'm happy with that, but that's absolutely not what's happening. What's happening is that we're treating the Trump-Russia stuff as like, oh, no, that's crazy. Why would he ever do that? And then the Clinton
Not all
Foundation.
of us are. I'm not. I like
No, of course.
All scandals, I think, deserve.
I agree.
want the truth from the government.
We agree.
In all stands. All right, we'll be right back. Fox News Talk. Call 877-367-2526.
I was 11 years old at my first national championships. I fell I don't know how many times.
Michelle Kwan was the most decorated figure skater in U.S. history.
But I had a dream. My dream came true because I dedicated myself.
Dedication made Michelle Kwan a champion.
I was passionate about something and I made sure that I worked hard for it.
And dedication can make your dreams a reality.
Whatever your dream and goals are, they can come true.
Dedication. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
We say the Pledge of Allegiance together. You've seen me around the neighborhood, and you've told me I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 4 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger. This problem is closer than you think. My teacher tells me we could grow up and be whatever we want. I want to grow up and be someone who doesn't go to bed hungry. There's enough food in this country to feed everyone. Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help. Every dollar you donate helps provide 7 meals for kids like me, quietly struggling with hunger. Together, we're Feeding America. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Computer security threats such as spam, spyware, viruses, and hackers invade your business every day through email, instant messaging, web browsing, and your company's website. With no software to install and no per-user license fees, Barracuda Network's firewalls are easy to set up and affordable. Do what 50,000 other companies have done. Reclaim your network with a Barracuda Networks firewall. For a free evaluation unit, call Barracuda Networks, 888-ANTI-SPAM, 888-ANTI-SPAM, or go online to barracuda.com.
Hi, I'm Kelly Clarkson, and I've toured the country dozens of times, and there's one thing every state has in common: childhood hunger. The sad truth is that 17 million kids don't know where their next meal is coming from, or if it's even coming at all. Yet there are billions of pounds of surplus food around the country at farms and warehouses that could help end this injustice. But all that food is useless if it doesn't get where it needs to go. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to hungry kids before it goes to waste. But they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank. Find out how at feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're Feeding America.
To help solve hunger in your community and to find your local food bank, visit feedingamerica.org. That's feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The following is an OnStar conversation.
OnStar Emergency, this is Dean.
Yes, I lost my purse with the keys in my car.
Well, that's okay. We can get that unlocked for you. Can I get your PIN number?
Okay, it's 063.
OnStar can send a signal to unlock your doors in most cases.
The reason why I need to get in my car is because I'm on my way to work.
Now, I have gone ahead and I've sent the signal out to your vehicle.
Okay.
The peace of mind OnStar offers is more affordable than you might think.
I have some good news. It just unlocked.
It did?
It did.
So can I try?
Go ahead.
Ah, it's open.
Wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Wait.
You just saved my job.
Oh, well, I'm glad I could.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Have a great night.
The first year of OnStar service is included on new OnStar-equipped GM vehicles, and unlimited use of all safety and security services costs only $16.95 plus tax per month after that. To experience OnStar, press your blue button or visit OnStar.com. OnStar by GM.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fox News Talk. I am Kat Timpf, and you can call in and join the conversation, 877-367-2526. I'm here with my friend Kennedy. Say hi, Kennedy.
Hello.
Hi. You might know her from Fox Business and, being amazing. Thank you so much for coming in.
Absolutely.
To join me on this news day where we were supposed to be talking about, remember we were supposed to be talking about tax reform. But we're not talking about that because instead we have Senator Jeff Flake decide he's done. He's out. And he said he's doing this because think of the children. Can we play clip 2, please?
It is often said that children are watching. Well, they are. And what are we going to do about that? When the next generation asks us, why didn't you do something? Why didn't you speak up? What are we going to say? Mr. President, I rise today to say enough. We must dedicate ourselves to making sure that the anomalous never becomes the normal. With respect and humility, I must say that we have fooled ourselves for long enough that a pivot to governing is right around the corner. A return to civility and stability right behind it. We know better than that. By now, we all know better than that.
You have children. I don't have children. When you think of your children, do you think, gee, I'm sure glad Senator Jeff Flake quit?
No, I actually, I think it's interesting. I know Jason Chaffetz is a contributor here at Fox, and it's always fun being on the outnumbered couch with him. But I've asked him a bunch of times, like, why'd you quit? Because I didn't have a ton of respect for Sarah Palin when she quit in the middle of her second gubernatorial term. I know that Flake is up for re-election, and he faces an uphill battle. He's very unpopular in his home state. The president has essentially endorsed the woman who would have run against him, Kelly Ward. And it's tough. So I imagine that he doesn't have a lot of financial backers. But also, you know, when you're teaching kids about resilience and standing up for themselves, part of the message is also follow through. So, you know, it's better to have fought and lost if you're Jeff Flake than to just drop out.
That's kind of what I thought. I feel like really he's probably just sick of being called Jeff Snowflake every day. He knows that he can either get slammed for a little bit longer and run for re-election, or run for re-election and lose and then have it be Snowflake loser. But I don't really see how this is about children. I get the way that he's referring to things like what happened today with President Trump and Senator Corker, of course, which, you know, all day, you know, Corker said, you know, Trump needs to step aside on tax reform, and then Trump was just quiet, you know, obviously not. Twitter battle all day long, every day. And so, of course, we're not talking about tax reform, and we're not talking about the fact that there's another investigation being opened into Hillary Clinton, Obama, Russia, which that's a big story. But it's not being talked about as much because of these Twitter feuds are so much more sexy.
Well, they are. I mean, it is fun to see a senator and a president go at it from the same party. I wish you would see this on the Democratic side a little bit more often. Politics is certainly a blood sport anymore. And, you know, it's interesting because a lot of people hesitate taking the president on because he doesn't back down. And he's like a cobra, and once his hood is up, he wants to bite you and kill you.
Yeah. If President Trump went after you personally, would you be a little honored or would you be upset?
I wouldn't be upset.
I wouldn't. I mean, I would not mind the attention necessarily. So far, the only one he hasn't really gone back at has been Eminem, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, he probably thinks it's the delicious candy.
Yeah, maybe. Or I think Eminem has made a living of roasting people forever. So Trump, you know, and Trump's not afraid to go, you know, a little bit past the line. Eminem's going to go way, way, way past the line, so he doesn't really want to mess with that.
I didn't think that was Eminem's finest work.
Certainly not. No, I'm not going to learn all the words to it like I did with The Real Slim Shady. Yep. I'm not going to be bumping it at my birthday party. The music video was a little bit low quality for me.
So LQ.
He, you know, and he called him like orange. I expected.
And it's like, but that's so ordinary, and that's so 2015.
Yeah. So getting back to Russia, are you glad to see that this is being reopened, or do you just think whatever she wasn't elected doesn't matter?
No, it does matter.
I agree.
I mean, it absolutely should matter because, you know, we're not talking about selling ties in China, and we're not talking about selling steaks or vodka. We're talking about selling uranium.
Yes.
And there's a reason that Russia was trying to weasel their way into the U.S. uranium market because we have a bunch of it. They want to make money and be energy independent. And, you know, they also want to make bombs.
Right, bombs. You're giving them stuff to make bombs, and then magically your foundation has $145 million. And if it was no big deal, they didn't disclose it. Can we have Peter Schweizer, author of Clinton Cash, that clip on the story. Can we play clip 26, please?
Both President Obama and John Kerry, when he was chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee at Hillary Clinton's confirmation hearings, they said you're required as a condition of being Secretary of State to disclose the flow of money. And in the Uranium One donations, they failed to do that. Millions of dollars they did not disclose. It only became exposed when we went through Canadian tax records. So a lot of evidence that there seemed to have been a cover-up to trying to prevent this money from being disclosed.
But it's interesting because that side of the story alone has Frank Giustra as its main component. So he was the Canadian backer who was also one of the main owners of the company, and he was also bundling donors for the Clinton Foundation through Canada. And the Clinton Foundation claimed that they could not release the names of donors or the amounts because of some obscure Canadian charity law, which turned out to be false. But Justra was helping funnel money into the Clinton Foundation, and he was also profiting as a partner in Uranium One. So it's pretty crazy that this guy, and it's interesting because, now the thing that's new about the story is the FBI informant that we're now hearing about. And you're not hearing as much about Frank Justra, but he was really the orchestra conductor who was bringing the bassoon and the steel drums and everything else together for one magical symphony of collusion.
Right, you got to say none of this sounds shady at all. When you start talking about bundlers and this obscure law, and just got away with all of it.
But the fact that you had Robert Mueller overseeing the FBI when the guy on behalf of Vladimir Putin started paying the uranium trucking company in the U.S. and other people giving him kickbacks, bribes, and threatening extortion. That guy was known to the FBI as far back as 2009 when Mueller was the head of the FBI. When there was an active investigation, Andrew McCabe, who was the deputy FBI director, he oversaw that. And the U.S. the U.S. attorney who was overseeing the whole thing was Rod Rosenstein. And all of those people still have a part in the administration in one way or another. Rosenstein obviously is the number 2 at the Department of Justice. Andrew McCabe is the number 2 at the FBI. And Robert Mueller is the independent counsel overseeing the Russia collusion Trump part of it. So obviously you cannot have Mueller investigate this aspect. This cannot be under the Russia collusion umbrella because everyone involved would have to recuse themselves. If this is to be investigated through the Department of Justice, there has to be a separate independent counsel who is appointed. But the question is, since Sessions has recused himself on the Trump-Russia stuff, does he also recuse himself here?
No.
And well, if he doesn't, then he needs to speak up and talk about the NDA because he is the only person who's actively involved in this right now who has seen and has access to the NDA.
Right, and I think that Sessions should have recused himself because the standard is if there's a conflict or the appearance of conflict, and this was an investigation into Trump's campaign, and he was a campaign surrogate, so he was very directly involved there. I don't think it was an admission of guilt. I think that, Loretta Lynch never formally recused herself. She just deferred. She absolutely should have, but in this instance, I don't see any reason why he should have to.
No, but she threatened the whistleblower, whoever that is. She threatened that person with prosecution, and I don't know why a government whistleblower would be forced to sign an NDA. That is the weirdest thing. And this person's lawyer has come forward and said you cannot criminally prosecute someone breaking an NDA. That's not the point of it. The point is, I won't say anything, and if I do, I pay you a bunch of money. That's what an NDA is. And why is the government keeping this guy secret? And why were there so many levels of government that knew all the people involved in concentrating this uranium store under the Russian, in their satchel? Why were all the levels of government somehow working together to make sure this deal went through? Why did we sell it? And why did no one stop it?
And no one disclosed anything, and it was all secret, the money, meaning the money. I think that people say now, okay, well, she lost, so it doesn't matter. But I think it absolutely does matter because it's not just about her. This continues in our current government now. These relationships continue at other levels just because Trump is the president. And also, is there a statute of limitations on some sort of international conspiracy? I don't think so.
There is a statute of limitations because it was a 2010 deal. So actually, yes, some of the
I don't think there should be, is what I mean.
Yeah, but some of the people who could be prosecuted can't now because it's 2017. So it is extended beyond the statute of limitations. But if you hold high office, or if you are a cabinet member and you do something wrong, you have to be held accountable for that, regardless of what party or what your last name is. And there's a lot here that just doesn't add up. And the two people who made plea deals, the Russian operative and the guy from the uranium trucking company in the U.S., they basically did soft pleas to money laundering. And in those legal documents, it never disclosed that Bill Clinton met with the Russian company that was seeking access to our uranium. He disclosed that to the State Department and asked his wife for permission, who magically granted it. And it also didn't talk about the $500,000 speaking fee, which was more than he had ever gotten for any of his other speeches.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we have a caller. We go to a caller really quick. We have Sam. Sam, hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm good. So my worry is that this is going to be the email thing all over, where they're going to dig up all the stuff. Everyone's going to can see clearly that it's wrong, but because of all this just tomes of legal mumbo jumbo, it wasn't technically illegal, and nothing's going to come of it.
You're probably going to see the Clintons slither out of any sort of accountability one more time. So, it'll be just like the good old days. I think you're absolutely right. I think because there were 9 federal agencies involved in allowing this deal to go, that you're not going to see them prosecuted. But, I'm very curious to see what's in that NDA, and I'm very curious for them to see if they will tear it up and allow this person to speak publicly and talk about what they know, because apparently there are financial records, there are emails, and there are recordings and all sorts of other hard evidence that lead to the conclusion that Russia was doing really disgusting things. The Obama administration knew about it. The Clinton Foundation knew about it. So no one should act surprised when they hear that Russia was screwing around with the 2016 election, because they appeased and allowed this behavior as far back as 2007.
Right, and for me, this isn't some vindictive thing. Okay, I want to see Hillary Clinton in jail, and that's the goal. And if she can't be prosecuted, and if these people can't be thrown in prison, then it's not worth it. I want to see the truth. I want to know what happened. And Kennedy, like you pointed out, could this have been where this started with the 2016 election? If we're going to talk about Russia, it doesn't just start with Trump. We have to talk about all of it. And I think the way that a lot of people get away with these sorts of things is on both sides, it's always super political. People on the right only want to hear about things that people on the left have done wrong. People on the left only want to hear about things that people on the right have done wrong. And I just want to know the truth. I want to know that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing and they're not doing what they're not supposed to be doing. So that's what's going on. Everybody, thank you very much, Sam. And if anyone else wants to join in the conversation, you can call in 877-367-2526. Fox News Talk. I'm Kat Timpf. I'm here with Kennedy. I don't know, though. I think people are a little exhausted with the Hillary Clinton talk. Kennedy, people will say that. But Hillary Clinton is the one that keeps reinterjecting herself into the conversation.
But she's also the one who said that this story is baloney. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason she's not president. Mm-hmm. Because, she claims that Republicans are worried about the Trump collusion investigation, so they're redirecting. That's what she's doing. By saying they're redirecting, she's redirecting. Exactly. And she will not take responsibility for anything. And she just says, there's nothing to see here. These aren't the droids you're looking for. And obviously, there is more to the story because it won't go away.
Exactly.
And she is tied to it. And it is so stomach churning, even for Democrats who just want her to go away. But her ghosts have come back to haunt her once again.
Democratic ghosts. I totally agree. All right. Well, we'll be coming right back. This is Kat Timpf, Fox News Talk. Call in 877-367-2526. Join in. We'll be right back.
This is Fox News Talk, powered by the most trusted name in news, Fox News. More next.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-611-5153. That's 800-611-5153. 800-611-5153.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventors information, call 1-800-359-7341. That's 1-800-359-7341. Again, 1-800-359-7341.
Now, from the historical audio archives of Fox News Talk.
Joe DiMaggio was named the greatest living player in a 1969 poll of sports writers. He took the great American pastime of baseball to new heights during his career and defined the term sports hero in the 40s and 50s. Joltin' Joe was known for the power of his batting. After World War II, he became a national hero, and even people who didn't like the New York Yankees liked Joe. He announced his retirement in 1952.
I said last spring, I thought this would be my last year. I wish I could have had a better year, but even if I had hit 350, this would have been my last year for me anyway. You all know I've had my share of injuries and setbacks during my career. In recent years, these have been too frequent to laugh for. When baseball is no longer fun, it's no longer a game. And so, I've played my last game of ball.
Stay tuned to hear more history as it unfolds before your ears. It's the audio archives of Fox News Talk.
We've entered a new investment era, according to Craig Smith, author of Rediscovering Gold in the 21st Century. Craig, tell us about this new era.
Sure. This new investment era means taking more responsibility for our money. The 18-year bull market on Wall Street may well be over, and many analysts agree that owning gold coins is very prudent. Certain U.S. gold coins have already doubled since 1999, while most stocks appear way overvalued. I discuss this and much more in my latest Real Money Perspectives newsletter, U.S. Gold Coins, the most trusted asset on earth.
Thanks, Craig. Read all about it in Craig's latest newsletter, free for the call at 1-800-BUY-COIN. That's 1-800-BUY-COIN. Prepare for a new investment era today by calling 1-800-BUY-COIN and requesting Craig's free newsletter. Until next time, this is an Idea Factory Minute.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome back to Fox News Talk. I am Kat Timpf. I'm here with my good friend Kennedy, Fox Business. You can join us in the conversation by calling 877-367-2526. Now, another day, we don't have a tax plan, it's looking like. This morning on Fox and Friends, Sarah Huckabee Sanders suggested that people like Corker, Senator Corker, need to let the president take the lead here. Can we play clip number 12, please?
I think you've got one or two people that don't want to see the ball move further down the field. Look, I think if Bob Corker is suggesting leaving it to the professionals and he's referring to himself, we've left it to him long enough and he's been ineffective. And now I think we need to, let the president take the lead on this front, working with Leader McConnell and others that really want to see some productive change, whether it's on tax reform, whether it's on getting better deals, fixing some of the mistakes through things like the Iran deal, putting pressure on North Korea. This is a president who wants to be aggressive, wants to take big action, and if Senator Corker doesn't want to be part of that, I think that's sad for his constituents, but we're not going to let that get in the way of us moving forward.
Now, Kennedy, what bothers me about stuff like this is letting the president take the lead idea is that actually that's Congress. The president's not their boss. They're supposed to be the separate but equal branches of government, and they're allowed to conflict with each other, and they're supposed to conflict with each other. That's how our government system is supposed to work.
Yeah, they're supposed to challenge one another,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's okay. And I get bored of the president getting defensive if people don't necessarily just hand him a win.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of his ideas that I like and embrace, and I want him to do well because I want the country to do well. But when he gets so distracted with the personal stuff and so defensive, it's annoying and it's off-putting for a lot of people. And it's exhausting, and people in his own party attack him, and he attacks them back. And, maybe it's a great distraction because then no one ever has to work.
No one ever has to work, right. Do you think that President Trump does see himself as the boss of Congress, or that he should be the boss of Congress? Because that is how he behaves sometimes. And that's the problem. So when we had this morning, when we had Senator Corker criticizing President Trump on taxes, we had, instead of just saying, oh, well, I disagree, it was Bob Corker couldn't, get elected as a dog catcher and this or that, which, by the way, animal control is always appointed nowadays. Dog catchers are not elected.
Yeah, when's the last time someone ran for dog catcher?
It was a long time ago. It was in
ago.
Yesteryear, I believe, according to my research.
I believe the world was in black and white.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, and it's fine for them to feud, and I think it's good to see intra-party feuding. I think that's a good thing because that's how the government
Democrats would do it more.
That's how the government is supposed to work. But I also wish that they could do it in a more mature way than we've seen a lot of people handling now. All right, thank you so much for joining me.
Kat. You sound glorious.
Thank you very much. You always sound glorious. All right, we'll be right back. 877-367-2526, Fox News Talk.
Take an ordinary putty knife and scrape off the old wax ring. Place the new wax ring over the flange, then line up the bolts with the bowl and gently set in place, making sure a proper seal is created with the flange and drain. Next.
Dad?
Yeah, sweetie.
Is that an old plumbing manual?
Oh, yeah, honey.
We really need to get some new books.
Right, do you want me to stop?
Nah, I kind of want to know how it ends.
Okay. Tighten the bolts, line up the flushing valve to the opening in the top of the bowl, and secure the tank with a screwdriver and crescent wrench.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Layla Ali. I might be undefeated in professional boxing, but there's one problem even I can't fight alone. Childhood hunger. Over 17 million kids in America may not know where their next meal is coming from. That's 1 in 5 children. Yet billions of pounds of surplus food produced right here in America just get thrown out every year. That's more than enough to feed